Dawson Rider review.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here. Welcome to my review for Power Rangers Beast Morphers Episode 5. Guess who's back? Back again. It's me! Okay, I thought this was a pretty solid episode. I think it was kind of an average, generic PR plot in terms of, it's definitely something we got before. You were probably having some flashbacks from Time Force, which is something myself and a lot of others mentioned during the pilot, because like the story with him and his dad have some similar beats of basically, his dad wants him to succeed, but he can't tell him he's a ranger. But things did go a little bit differently than the way I thought, which I was pleased with. But yeah, the basic premise was Devon has to get a job at a car wash because his dad got him the job, and he has trouble, balancing his ranger duties with that, and, coming up with excuses to his boss. And there was a huge plot hole in this, in which when he was with the Rangers, he said, "I'm on my lunch break." Then, 2 scenes later, his dad comes and says, "I'm gonna buy you lunch." So when was lunch, Devon? So it was kind of like that classic, ranger responsibility bit, and they're like, you can't have a job and be a ranger. I'm like, I'm pretty sure people have done it before. I mean, I guess it's a little bit different, because it's like an official organization. I don't remember like the SPD Rangers having jobs, but didn't the Lightspeed Rescue people do stuff sometimes? I don't know. But like the point is there's been Rangers that had other responsibilities and they were able to juggle it, but I got what they were going for. I thought, honestly, one of two things was going to happen, or both. I thought his dad was going to find out at the end, especially since they had that exact scene where his dad gets held up in a limo, just like Wes's dad did, and sees the Red Ranger in action. I thought somehow he was going to see it was Devon. He did not. He did not. Or I thought that somehow Grid Battle Force, which I still think they should, basically come up with a job for him there, like, oh, he works in the laundry room now too, or he's like security, like Ben and Betty were, or that, whatever outfit they're wearing does. Like, I thought that's what they were gonna do, especially since his dad's the mayor, and like, if they don't want him knowing who the Rangers are, maybe don't draw attention to it, so they could just, not even necessarily really give him a job, just pretend they do, like, oh yeah, Devon Totes works in the laundry room, do you need more proof? So I thought that was going to happen. Again, I still think that should have been something that happened just logically, but neither one of those things happened. It basically amounted to, one time Devon had gone back to the job and the other Rangers were like, well, we'll help you wash all the cars real quick. And they left all their communicators and phones off. And Blaze is like, they're unguarded. I'll destroy their communicators. Like, it's really funny when you think about it in the context of other villains. Because other villains and other superhero properties would be like, oh my god, I know who this person is now. I know their secret identity. Here they are vulnerable. I'm gonna kill them. And then this one's like, oh, there go their cell phones. I mean, but still, it was more clever than some plots that happened. It was kind of like an extreme version of what happened to Tommy and MMPR all the time when they had to explain why he wasn't in the footage. But basically, it was causing all kinds of problems. There was also a secondary plot going on, and I don't know if it has any context in Go Busters. I don't remember anything about it. Maybe I'm just, not remembering it. But about them trying to use leftover Gigadrone parts or even monster parts for various things, because another bit that happened in this episode was kind of, I guess, thematically ties to Dad's, is Ben and Betty's dad is like a commander or a general or assistant to the regional manager. I don't remember what he was, but he's important. That's why Ben and Betty have jobs there. It makes sense. And the beginning of the episode, they're like, oh, well, check out Ben and Betty's new innovation. And they like reconstructed Tronics into like a dog robot, which was, to be honest, really disturbing. Like, because it was a human in there, like it wasn't like a CG little dog or something. Like, it was disturbing. But the point was, even though the idea obviously backfired because they needed a physical comedy bit, they're like, well, at the core, this is kind of a decent idea if we can get some of the scraps. And there was a scene of, Ravi and Zoe going around getting scraps. And, like, none of them were really that useful because all the circuitry was fried or destroyed from being blown up. So then at the end of the episode, Devon manages to stab one, so they're able to lower it into this warehouse, which they make a big point of talking about, like, oh, I have this offsite warehouse you can use now. So I'm not sure where they're going with that. Maybe it will have to do with the Megazord, because we still haven't gotten the Megazord, which I'm fine with. I like when they slow burn, especially when Sentai has been fast burning lately. So I don't mind that at all. It was a little bit of a slow burn in Go Busters too, but I feel like even more so here. But maybe it's tied to that, like, I don't remember anything being said about the Megazord being possible yet, other than, being in little trailers. So maybe the function's not even ready yet, and maybe somehow studying the Gigadrone gives them that. it's gonna come into play somehow, whether it's something that's introduced or maybe a plot about, like, you know, something getting infected there because they're diving into the evil tech or something. I don't know. But that was just kind of interesting. At least it was setting up for something later, presumably, unless it just goes nowhere. Also, which we saw in the preview clip, when they're at this new, like, off-site warehouse or hangar or whatever, they roll Jay's head across the way. You know, the head that's going to be used for the Beastbot creature that's probably going to become Silver Ranger, if you're familiar with Go Busters. So that was a fun little, you know, catch for those of us that seen Go Busters, but also a nice little bit of foreshadowing there. But yeah, I did like this episode. I thought it was fairly generic in a lot of ways, but I liked that it had some progression for one of Devon's character arcs with his dad a little bit, even if it was a bit of a retread over the Wes Collins stuff. But I like that they didn't resolve it. I remember thinking, like, well, if he finds out the identity, it's just going to feel like a really weird condensed version of, you know, the arc with Wes, but I like that it's still going to be happening. It wasn't neatly resolved. Like, even though I think that they should give him some sort of placeholder job or fake job at Grid Battle Force just to get his dad off his back, like, it wasn't resolved by, like, well, I got a new job here and everything's fine. Like, his dad was kind of disappointed with him. It was resolved a little neatly in the sense that, you know, after the mayor saw the Rangers in action, he gave a press conference saying that he was proud of them. Like, that was a little on the nose. I feel like they didn't have to write the dialogue, so he literally said the word, "I'm proud of them." Like, it could have come across as, like, yeah, they're really impressive and I like them. And, like, it could have still conveyed to the audience, like, yeah, he's gonna be proud of his son if he knew. They didn't have to put it on the nose, like, get it, guys? He's proud of him. You know it? But yeah, so, like, I kind of liked that, and I get what they were going for. I like that they weren't, you know, fully resolving it, but it was still a little bit on the nose. But in other things, you know, it was nice. We got a little bit about Ben and Betty, why they're there. Like, not only an explanation of, okay, why these competent people work there, but something that could be worked in for later character stories. Whatever's going to happen with this technology stealing thing, or not stealing, but salvaging thing, could be something. So I like that there's at least seemingly a little bit momentum depending on what pays off. But yeah, overall I would say it was a pretty solid episode. I'd give it a 7.5. I think it was pretty decent, if not a little generic. But we'll see. I hope that somehow there's something that makes the Devon dad storyline stand out from being just a retread of the West one. Because obviously there isn't that whole Destiny bit played in so much. I mean, it kind of is a little bit, because I feel it's a little bit about choosing his own path, but I just feel it's not as prevalent because there's no time travel. Like, it doesn't have to be, you know what I mean if you've seen Time Force. But anyway, we'll see in the future. Hopefully the quality keeps up until whenever we hit the hiatus. But until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps, and ring that bell with notifications for all my Power Rangers news and toy reviews. Dawson Ryder, signing out.